All right, so today we're diving into something that I bet a lot of you have thought about if you've ever shopped for a new car,
Oh, yeah.
employee pricing.
Definitely a hot topic.
Especially, we're focusing on Ford today and how it stacks up against what Stellantis is doing over there.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Yeah, we've done a lot of research on this, a lot of digging, and we really want to pull back the curtain
Absolutely.
and give you a look at how these programs actually work. Like, what are the mechanics of them?
Yeah, the nuts and bolts.
How do they differ between these two big companies? And, even throw in how something like global tariffs can actually impact these deals.
The bigger picture stuff.
Yeah. So at the end of this, we want you to walk away with a really solid understanding of these employee pricing strategies.
For sure. And kind of the benefits they offer and what things might shape them, going forward.
Right.
It's not just a simple discount. It's a lot more than that.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's just start with the basics. Like, what is employee pricing at its core? It's really a strategy that car companies use, right?
Yeah.
To incentivize sales and to build loyalty with their workforce.
For sure. And it makes sense. If you work for Ford and you can get a new truck at a huge discount,
Right.
you're probably going to be driving a Ford.
Exactly. You're going to be more likely to buy a Ford.
And what's interesting is that, studies have shown that these employees referring their friends and family and just talking about their cars,
Right.
that converts into sales way more
Right.
than traditional advertising does.
Word of mouth is powerful.
It's really powerful.
Absolutely. So it's a win-win for the company, right?
Yeah, it's like organic marketing in a way.
Totally. And it's got to be great for employee morale, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It makes people feel valued.
Yeah, like they're part of something.
Yeah, exactly. And when employees have a positive experience with their company car,
Uh-huh.
they become true believers.
Totally.
They're the best salespeople.
They're your best ads walking around, right? Driving your car. So Ford has been doing this for a really long time.
Oh, yeah, they're one of the pioneers.
Yeah, it's almost part of their company DNA at this point.
I think it is. It's ingrained in their culture.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty of how their employee pricing actually works.
Okay.
So Ford primarily has two plans. We're looking at the A plan and the Z plan.
Right.
The A plan is generally for your current employees.
Uh-huh.
Your Z plan is more geared towards retirees and their families.
Got it.
Now, the big thing with Ford's employee pricing is they try to get you a price that's very close to what the dealership itself is paying.
Okay.
They're working off what's called the factory invoice price.
Uh-huh.
And then they'll usually knock off any rebates or incentives that are available to the public anyway.
So you're getting all those standard discounts plus the employee pricing.
Plus the employee pricing, exactly.
Wow.
What this does is it usually gets rid of the extra dealer markups and something called holdbacks. Holdbacks are basically, a little percentage of the vehicle's cost that the manufacturer gives back to the dealer.
After the sale.
After the sale. So
Okay.
employee pricing usually sidesteps that, and that's how you get an even lower price.
Interesting. So it's all about transparency then.
Yeah, you're cutting through the BS,
No hidden fees.
No hidden fee. Well, there's still fees, but you're getting closer to that true cost.
Right.
So who's eligible for all this?
Yeah. Who gets to reap these benefits?
Eligibility is a big one. Generally speaking, it includes current and former employees.
Okay.
Now, that can be full-time, part-time,
Gotcha.
and then it extends to their immediate family.
So we're talking spouses, kids, parents.
Spouses, kids, parents, sometimes even siblings.
Oh, wow.
But there's almost always some fine print, right?
Of course.
Like how long you've worked there.
Okay.
Or if you're retired, how long you've been retired to qualify.
Right. That makes sense. They want to make sure it's for people actually connected to the company.
Right. It's not just your neighbor's cousin. Now, does this apply to any Ford or Lincoln vehicle that you might want?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, for the most part, yes. But
There's always a but.
if there's a vehicle that's super in demand,
Oh, okay.
like a hot new model,
Right.
or maybe it's a limited production specialty vehicle,
I see.
they might exclude it or have specific limitations on those.
So like a super rare Mustang might not be eligible.
Exactly.
That's understandable. You got to balance things out.
Yeah, supply and demand.
Right.
Now, what about those public incentives and rebates that we see all the time?
Yeah, the ones they advertise everywhere.
Yeah. Can you stack those on top of the employee pricing?
That's what I want to know.
The answer is often you can.
Often.
That's the key word.
Okay.
You always got to read the fine print because some special offers might not be stackable.
So it's not a guarantee.
Not a guarantee.
Got it.
You really have to do your homework and look at the different combinations and see what actually gets you the best price.
Yeah, shop around.
Now, even with employee pricing, you're still going to have those standard dealer fees, right?
Okay.
You're still going to have documentation fees, taxes, registration costs.
So it's not a completely free car.
No. You still got to pay the government their share.
Right.
And what about leasing versus buying?
Good question.
Employee pricing usually applies to both,
Okay.
but how the discount is calculated and how much you actually save could be different.
Interesting. So leasing might have a slightly different benefit than buying.
Right, because leasing has a different set of financial calculations.
Makes sense.
And then the last thing is there's usually a limit on how many vehicles you can get with employee pricing each year.
Oh, okay. Is there a quota?
Yeah, there might be some limits in place.
So you can't just buy a fleet of F-150s?
Yeah, no, you can't buy the whole dealership.
Right.
It's usually to prevent any reselling or abuse of the program.
Makes sense.
Okay, so that's a pretty good overview of how Ford's employee pricing works.
That's really helpful to understand.
Yeah, but now let's switch gears and talk about Stellantis. Okay.
This is the group that has all those brands like Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Fiat, Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, and all the European ones too, like Peugeot, Citroën, Opel, Vauxhall.
Yeah, they've got a huge portfolio of brands.
It's massive.
And of course, they have their own employee pricing programs as well.
Right.
Now, with a merger as big as that was when they formed Stellantis,
Right.
you got to think they've been working to streamline all those different employee pricing structures that they inherited.
Yeah. It makes sense to have a unified approach for all those brands.
Totally. But even though the basic idea is the same, giving employees a discount, there could be some pretty big differences between how Stellantis does it and how Ford does it.
Okay, so what are we looking at here?
Well, one thing is the actual formula they use to calculate the discount.
Okay.
Is it the same as Ford's where they're really focused on that factory invoice price?
Right.
Or do they do something like a fixed percentage off MSRP?
Interesting.
Or maybe they have some other methods. Yeah, that's a key difference right there, how they determine the discount.
And then obviously the sheer number of brands that Stellantis covers.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge difference.
That's a big one. Ford is basically Ford and Lincoln.
Right.
But Stellantis employees have access to a way bigger pool of vehicles.
Yeah, they've got trucks, SUVs, luxury cars, economy cars, everything.
Exactly. So that's a big advantage for Stellantis employees.
For sure. More options.
Now, the eligibility rules could also be different.
Okay.
Do they define family members the same way as Ford?
Uh-huh.
Are the requirements for how long you've worked there similar across all the Stellantis brands?
Yeah. Are there any quirks in the system?
Yeah, we don't know for sure.
So we got to do some more digging.
And just like Ford, Stellantis probably has a list of vehicles that are excluded from the employee pricing.
Okay.
Those high-demand models or limited production runs.
The hot ticket items?
Yeah, exactly. So you're probably not going to get employee pricing on like a brand new Dodge Viper.
Probably not.
And then there's a question of stacking discounts.
Right. Can you combine employee pricing with those public incentives?
That's another area where Ford and Stellantis could differ. Ford often lets you do it, but Stellantis might have stricter rules.
Interesting.
Now, here's the important thing. The exact details of these programs are often kept pretty hush-hush.
Okay.
Companies consider them proprietary information, and they can change from one year to the next.
So it's a moving target.
It is. So if you work for Ford or Stellantis, the absolute best place to get the most up-to-date information is to check your internal company resources.
So talk to HR.
Talk to HR, go on the employee portal.
Get it straight from the source.
Exactly, because things change and you don't want to rely on outdated info.
Right.
Okay, so let's bring in another factor that can really complicate car pricing.
Hit me with it.
Tariffs.
Oh, yeah. Those are a big deal.
For anyone who needs a refresher, tariffs are essentially taxes on goods that are imported into a country.
Right. So if a car is built overseas and shipped here, it's going to get hit with a tariff.
Exactly. And those costs get passed along
To the buyer,
which can really affect the final price, even with employee discounts.
Okay, so how do tariffs specifically impact employee pricing?
Well, it's interesting because even if a Ford is built here in the U.S., it might still have parts that were made in other countries.
Right, like engines or transmissions.
Exactly. And if those parts get hit with tariffs, it increases the cost for Ford to build the car.
So even domestic cars can be affected.
Exactly. And then, of course, you have the Ford and Stellantis vehicles that are actually built outside the U.S.
Right.
Those are going to be directly subject to import tariffs.
And that's going to be reflected in the price.
Yeah, potentially even the employee price.
Makes sense.
Plus, we have to remember, government trade policies and tariff regulations, they're not set in stone.
They can change all the time.
They change all the time, which adds a layer of unpredictability.
Yeah, it's a wild card.
So if tariffs make it more expensive for Ford and Stellantis to build or import their cars, it could mean they have less wiggle room to offer big discounts.
Even to employees.
Even to employees, they still have to make a profit, right?
Of course.
And they also want to stay competitive with other car companies.
So they can't just jack up prices.
Exactly. So they have to find that sweet spot.
It's a balancing act.
And it's not always clear how much of a tariff cost increase gets passed on to the employee.
Yeah, it's kind of a behind-the-scenes thing.
It's part of their overall pricing strategy.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to the specific vehicles at Ford.
Okay.
We mentioned that most new Ford and Lincoln vehicles are usually eligible for employee pricing. But that list can change based on the model year, demand availability, new models.
So you get stay updated.
You got to stay updated.
Check those official documents.
Exactly.
So what kind of cars are we talking about typically?
So for Ford, you're usually looking at their popular trucks, like the F-Series,
Okay.
the F-150, the Super Duty.
Those are big sellers.
Huge sellers. And then they have a bunch of SUVs.
Like what?
The Explorer, the Escape, the Bronco Sport Edge Expedition Maverick.
So pretty much their whole SUV lineup.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, of course, you've got the Mustang,
Can't forget the Mustang.
including the electric Mustang Mach-E,
Really?
and then the Ranger pickup truck.
Okay, so a good mix of cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Yeah, pretty wide range.
What about Lincoln?
On the Lincoln side, you often see models like the Navigator, the Aviator Corsair Nautilus,
Okay.
and sometimes the Zephyr, which has also been marketed as the Nautilus, depending on the year.
Ah, so a bit of name confusion there.
Yeah, but again, this is just a general overview.
Right.
If you're a Ford or Lincoln employee and you're serious about buying a specific model, you absolutely need to check the official program details for the most current info.
Don't make assumptions.
No, don't rely on this conversation.
Go straight to the source.
Exactly.
Now, what about the future? What's employee pricing going to look like in 2025?
The crystal ball question.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of things that could influence it.
Like what?
Obviously, the overall car market,
Oh, yeah.
consumer demand inventory levels at dealerships, what competitors are doing with their pricing.
Right, it's all connected.
It's all connected. And then there are those ongoing supply chain problems.
The chip shortage.
The chip shortage. Yeah, if those issues are still around in 2025,
Right.
they could limit the supply of certain vehicles,
And that affects pricing?
and that could affect pricing even with employee discounts.
Interesting.
And then you have Ford's big push into EVs.
Yeah, they're going all in on electric.
It wouldn't be surprising if they started offering specific incentives or really sweet deals on their EVs through employee pricing.
So like even bigger discounts on the Mustang Mach-E or the F-150 Lightning.
Exactly, because EVs have different costs, and sometimes they qualify for different government incentives.
Right. It's a whole new ballgame with EVs.
It is, and as Ford launches new models or redesigns existing ones for 2025,
Right.
it's common for those to have temporary exclusions or special rules within the employee pricing.
So those new models might not be eligible right away.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then there's the competition. What are Stellantis and GM doing?
Yeah, Ford's got to keep up with the Joneses.
They do. They want to be competitive. They want to attract and retain talent.
So they got to offer a good package.
So we can't say for sure what 2025 will bring,
Right.
but Ford's employee pricing is likely to remain a pretty valuable perk.
I would say so. It's a big draw for employees.
And any changes or updates, they'll probably announce those through official channels as we get closer to 2025.
Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled.
Now, beyond the A plan and Z plan,
Okay.
Ford sometimes offers additional discount programs to certain groups.
Like who?
Well, they have supplier discounts for employees of companies that work with Ford
Okay.
and affiliate discounts for people who are members of certain organizations.
Like a credit union or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then they might have limited time promotions.
So even more ways to save.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Now, completely shifting gears for a second.
Okay.
You know Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, the actor.
He's been working with VinFast.
VinFast.
They're a Vietnamese electric vehicle manufacturer.
Interesting.
He's been a brand ambassador for them doing ads and appearing at events.
That's a pretty big name for an EV company.
It is, and it's relevant because Ford and Stellantis are both heavily invested in EVs now.
Right. They're both transitioning to electric.
And the EV market is getting really competitive.
Yeah, with new players like VinFast coming in.
Exactly.
So Ford and Stellantis, They got to step up their game.
They do. They need to find ways to stand out.
And attract buyers.
So Bryan Cranston's involvement with VinFast, it shows how much the auto industry is changing.
Yeah, new technologies, new players.
And it makes you think, will VinFast use really aggressive employee pricing?
Oh, interesting.
To build excitement and get their employees driving their cars?
Yeah, could be a smart strategy.
It could be, and it raises the question for Ford and Stellantis.
Right.
How are they going to adapt their employee programs in this new EV era?
Yeah, how do they stay competitive?
So to wrap things up, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have a lot of info.
We've gone deep into employee pricing at Ford.
Uh-huh.
We've looked at how it compares to Stellantis.
Right.
We've talked about tariffs, those tricky tariffs. We've discussed what might shape these programs in the future.
On all the different ways to save.
Exactly. And the big takeaway is that for eligible employees, employee pricing can be a huge opportunity to save money on a new car.
It's a real benefit.
It's a real benefit. So here's a final thought for everyone to ponder.
Okay.
As the world goes electric, how will employee pricing and benefits change even more?
That's a good question.
Will we see even better incentives to get people into EVs?
Interesting.
And how will these long-standing programs at Ford and Stellantis compete with what the newer companies are doing?
Yeah. How do they stay ahead of the curve?
It's going to be fascinating to watch how this all unfolds.
Absolutely. This industry is changing fast.
It really is.
We'll have to revisit this topic in a few years.
For sure. Keep an eye on the road ahead. Thanks for joining us today on The Deep Dive.
It's been a great conversation.
We'll see you next time.
Today is your lucky day. Today is the day that our $3 website works for you, paying you directly to your PayPal daily. Imagine $3 ongoing continuous payments to your PayPal account. Imagine falling asleep and waking up to $300 in your PayPal account. How would this make you feel? How could this help you? What bills could you pay? What kind of fun could you have? What does that retirement look like now? All for a one-time payment of $3. This website is DFY done for you, fully built and completely hosted, and never stops collecting payments for you. You have spent $3 on coffee on a regular, but that coffee won't help you create multiple streams of income. Click the link below.